I'm Marlin Darrah, and over the past 45 years, I've made over 90 movies, documentaries, and travel adventure films in about 150 countries. I've made a point in all of my movies and documentaries and travel adventure films to focus on what's unique in these various countries around the world, and especially now with feature films, to bring elements of adventure and thriller genres into these movies. One thing I like to mention to people is we make movies about people and locations that people may want to go, but may be afraid to go to. And especially we make movies in countries where the big studios in Hollywood find it too difficult to go to because of legal reasons, because of insurance reasons. Maybe their lead actors might be too afraid to go to some of these countries. So that's what we think that we can do in a very special and unique way, is to work with teams of 30 people, 40 people, and everybody on the team, from the actors to the sound, to the camera, to the producers, everybody on our teams of 20, 30, 40 people, they really want to go to these places. They really want to go to Egypt. They want to go to the Amazon. They want to go to Cambodia or to Ecuador or to Tanzania. These people are adventurous in their own way, and I really enjoy working with creative, adventurous people in these different countries. It's incredibly satisfying, as everyone knows with movie production. The juice is in the actual filming, the shooting of your story in these great locations around the world. That's where the juice is. I often kind of focus on movies that feature Americans that get into trouble overseas. I find that just to be a wonderful way to make stories and tell stories about Americans that get into situations that's a little bit beyond their control in different countries. It might be where a riverboat in the Amazon, for example, where they're taking a voyage of a lifetime, a cruise of a lifetime up the river, and then encounter something that they weren't expecting. Criminals might board the vessel, and they have a goal to find treasure in the jungle, and so they kidnap these American tourists and commandeer the vessel and the boat and take it far, far upriver, and thus it becomes something of a survival journey. Who will survive in the Amazon forest and the river there? So I love those type of stories. We did a recent movie in Egypt. It's called An Egypt Affair. It's about four friends, two couples, that take a dream trip of a lifetime, a romantic journey it's supposed to be up the Nile River. And unfortunately, though, things unravel when two mysterious people board the boat on the second day of the trip up the Nile, and one of the people that is boarding, the mystery person, is a beautiful, enchanting woman who then seduces our lead character, who's from a wealthy family, and it becomes a blackmail scheme movie. And I find that just a great juxtapositioning of the Nile with its great monuments, history, culture, and that juxtaposes against these Americans that are now kind of fighting for their lives, really, on the Nile River there. There's a lot of things with that story that I really love, and it's about friendship and love, lust, the betrayal of trust, and the characters in the movie. It's hard to know exactly who is the good guy and who's the bad guy at the beginning of the movie, and as it transpires, the story becomes a complex web of betrayal, and what would you do for love is often a question that's asked in my movies. And I set those in countries, often distant countries around the world, like in the Amazon, in Egypt, in Cambodia. We have a new movie we want to shoot in Ecuador as well. There's a new movie we want to shoot in Madagascar and Portugal. So all these locations around the world in themselves are incredibly beautiful, rich in culture and history. We've been very fortunate with Amazon Queen, a movie we just did a few years ago. It's been seen by tens of millions of people around the world thus far on many different platforms in many countries. So it's very gratifying to bring those stories to people, these movies to people around the world, and get the comments that we've been receiving, which are almost always extremely favorable. And that's very gratifying to have that. We've been very lucky too to win over 200 awards and nominations and selections at international film festivals throughout the world in at least 35 countries around the world for the past 3 movies that I've done. And so we've won Best Picture, Best Director, a number of actors have won awards, production design awards, cinematography awards, sound. So that's also very gratifying to win those dozens and dozens of awards and have that recognition and go to the festivals and share the movies with audiences. There's not that many filmmakers that I think have the experience that I have, of course, in all these different continents and countries to tell these stories without being afraid to go to the countries, without having the preconceived fears that a lot of people have about going to the Middle East or to Africa or even to Asia. And so I'm pretty fearless in that regard. I'd be willing to make a movie in almost any country in the world, frankly. There's so many great stories to tell, not only in the countries, but then bringing Americans to that country in the story and seeing how they deal with all those challenges and conflicts. And it brings out the true character in people. So I love throwing our characters into these extremely challenging situations in faraway countries.